Validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa, I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Sander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. I do believe this is our first Sunday of 2025, if not the second Sunday of 2025. Well, yeah, we're 12 days in. So this is like week 2 of 2025. So greatly appreciate you guys coming to the podcast. If you want to hit that like and subscribe, you'll be able to click that link and approve the mic, approve the camera, and it'll bring you onto the show in real time, where you'd be able to, if you're over the age of 18, get up on the show, special shout outs to friends and family, or talk in real time on a conversation. Either way, remember, we're live 7 nights a week, around 10 o'clock. We're about 10:20 right now, but it's usually around 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Pacific Time. We're not going to change the time slots with daylight savings time is recognized. So you're going to see a little bit of a shift in the U.S. as far as time, but for the rest of the world, we're going to be at the exact same time. Special shout out to Red Void Omni 81 from Twitch, Liberty Twitcher, Mr. Pibbs, Red Void from the Twitch area. Then on Twitter, AJ, YouTube, we got Reese, Max Opposer, TV Fireball. Really appreciate you guys for coming to the podcast, for showing up and showing out and making sure that we have a lively comment section. Tonight is our Sunday members only lives that's open to the public for the time being. and we are doing question and comments from the fans. So if you guys are interested in responding to some of the comments that we got going on, make sure that you do so in the comment section down below, but also hit the like button while you are enjoying some of these comments, because a lot of these comments are going to be pretty thick, and we're gonna really cut to the nitty gritty on some of these. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with some of the comments on our show for tonight.
Why do you think this is so common? As a 33-year-old female,
And they're doing
I
it to
matched
us
with a guy.
again. So I don't understand why they try us like this, but every single time. But I have a resolution for that, because as it happened last time, where it did not allow us to put the or it's not that it didn't allow us, it just interfered with our ability to play the sound last time. I have found an ultimate solution for that. So what we have to do is we have to do us a little bit of a screen share and get it up here where we can get that audio file in there, and then that will give us the ability to put it up there. So now we can hear what's going on with the Q&A. Here we go. Oh, look at that. It is not showing the sound. All right. Hold on a second, y'all. I was playing that. I'm listening to it, and y'all aren't hearing it. I have had this happen to me once before. So we're going to try this a second time, because y'all got to hear this. We're going to go ahead and get this going.
Why do you think this
I
is
don't know
so
why.
common? As a 33-year-old female, I matched with a guy who is also 33. He was cute, profile was fine. Had
Now we got
conversation
it.
for several days. Conversation wasn't super compelling, but he was nice, and I'm trying to get back out there. I push it forward, ask about meeting in person to see if the conversation would be less stilted in person. He acts interested, asks me when. I reply, I'm free this weekend. What would work best for you? No reply. Looking at the sub, it seems like this is a common occurrence, but I just don't get it. Is everyone bored, just wasting time and not actually interested in meeting? Are all the profiles just bots now? It's so strange. For a little bit of background, this was on Hinge. My first foray on Hinge was in early 2021 as the pandemic was still kind of raging on. I was pretty successful. Lots of matches and convos, plenty of dates, and met two guys who I dated for a while, though neither worked out long term. Took a long break from dating and decided to get back out there in the new year. I've literally only had one match in the 2 weeks I've been doing this, and it died on the table. I'm attractive, have a good job, and live alone. No kids.
Okay, so, well, you've got two things going for you, ma'am. You are attractive, and you have no kids. You have nothing else that you have just described that makes you valuable to a man, because men don't care if you have a career. Uh, it doesn't matter if you live alone or if you live with somebody else, as long as the person that you're living with is not your significant other. So if you own your own home, doesn't really change anything, because if you get into a committed relationship, either one of you is going to rent out a house and the other one is going to sell a house or something to that effect, but you guys are going to come together in some way, shape, or form if you commit in that long-term relationship. So to answer your question, when we start talking about is the dating game starting to dwindle out? Yeah, it is. One of the reasons being is that men are not liking the way they're being treated in relationships. The other half of that is that there are a lot of women that have negative intentions on the dating sites, and that negativity negatively impacts the men that are on the dating sites, which causes the men to have less of a desire to get on those dating sites. Now, there are some men that are going to get on the dating sites regardless, but usually the intentions of some of the men that get on the dating sites is going to be specifically to find somebody to hook up with. So it's going to be harder for good women to find a man that's looking for a long-term serious relationship, because the men that are looking for long-term serious relationships have given up on the dating site. The men that are looking for good women that are not just interested in a man's income and actually values the man for who he is, those men are having trouble finding the good women because the good women do not stand out in front of the women that are desiring to be spoiled, to have a generous man, to have trips around the world guy. And you have to really understand that if you want your profile to be different than another woman's profile on a dating platform where a man won't mistake your profile as gold digger, you have to really change the description of your profile. Let's be honest. If a man sees, I want a generous man, she's a gold digger. If a man sees that her value is steak and lobsters and trips around the world, she's a gold digger. If you like to go shopping, gold digger. Extra vacations on a regular basis, gold digger. These are red flags on a dating profile because you're clearly saying that you're financially wasteful before you even meet the man. Now, ladies are going to say that's messed up. You shouldn't judge women that way. Ladies, if a man's profile says that he's fresh out of a divorce, he's got alimony and child support for 3 kids from 2 marriages, you're going to say he's a problem. If a man says that he has poor health issues, that he doesn't have a stable job, and the man says that he's living in his mother's basement because he can't afford to rent his own place, you're going to say that he's not valuable. Just like if you put the wrong words in there as a man on your dating platform, a lady, you could put the wrong things on there and just deter all men. So if you're looking for a man with that is got a good heart, you're looking for a man that is compassionate, you're looking for a man that prioritizes your needs, but you are the kind of woman that will prioritize his needs, and you are the kind of woman that pays attention to his desires, and you are the kind of woman that puts your man first. And ladies, you're trying to bag a man, put it into your profile that you cook and clean, not because a man wants to serve it, because men are hungry and they don't feed themselves because they work until they drop. Men are not always organized because they work until they drop. So if you're saying, I will help you make your money so that you can spend your money on me, they're going to say she's a helper, because what they're looking at is that she's willing to help him be successful. Because a good man is going to spend his money on you regardless. You don't have to look for that. You don't have to look for a man that's going to spend money on you. If you're the kind of woman that dates selfish men because you're looking for that top 1% guy who's rich and he can afford to keep it all in his pocket and only gives you what he wants to bait you in so that you can do what he wants you to do and then sends you home, that type of man is not good for you. The middle class guy, the lower middle class guy that's good for you, that guy is going to spend every extra dollar he's got on making you happy after he provides you with the best standard of living that he can provide. That guy you keep in a friend zone. You have to think about the fact, if you're really getting a good guy, the good guy is not going to need convincing to be generous. The good guy does not need to be convinced to be compassionate. If you are being loyal and respectful and dignified and modest, you don't even need to worry about a jealous man. When you say that you don't want a jealous man, you're not talking about, oh, well, I don't want Norma Bates as a boyfriend. When you're saying you don't want a jealous man, you're saying that you want to be able to socialize with other men and not have your boyfriend complain about it. That's a red flag for men. If you're saying that you are, and make sure that you guys like and subscribe as you're jumping in here. If you're saying that on your dating profile that You don't want a man that complains, or you don't want a man that's bossy, or you don't want a man that tells you what to do. You want to be a free spirit. Then what you're saying is that you want the benefits of being in a relationship, but still have the privilege of acting like a single woman. That's also a red flag for men. A man is not going to say, oh, I just want this woman that I'm going to give all of my money to, and then I still am alone in this relationship. No man's going to do that. No man in their right mind is going to do that. The same way women are not going to willingly say, oh, I will hook up with this dude and be one of 8 girlfriends, and he's not giving me any money. He's not taking care of my standard of living. He's not doing anything for me. No woman's going to say that. Matter of fact, women to this day are not even willing, not in the Western culture, to say, if he can afford to pay for me and her, I'll share him with her, because there are days out of the week that I don't even want to be bothered with him. Most women want to keep their man exclusively to themselves, but you don't have the patience. Western women don't have the patience and compassion to meet the needs of the man that they're trying to keep to themselves. How can it's a lot like having a pet and not taking care of it. And that's basically what it is, because men are treated like dogs anyway. So it's like having a pet and not taking care of it. You cannot have a man that is supposed to be exclusive to you, where his emotional and physical needs are not being met by you, but he's not allowed to get those emotional and physical needs met by somebody else. The same way, if your financial needs are not being met, it's not okay for his finances to be meeting the needs of somebody else while in a relationship with you. It's mutual exchange. So yeah, the dating scene has been jacked up, and I'm going to tell you, it's only going to get worse. But make sure that you guys like and subscribe as we continue on with some of these comments.
My 25-year-old female best friend confessed to my 26-year-old boyfriend of 3 years, and now he's confused. I'm 24. I thought my best friend and I were tight, but last week she sat my boyfriend down and said she's been in love with him for years. He told me immediately, which I appreciated, but then he dropped a bombshell. He says he needs space to think about his feelings. What feelings? We've been together for 3 years, and I thought we were solid. My friend and I have known each other since high school, and I never saw this coming. Now she's texting me saying she's sorry but had to be honest about her feelings. I don't know what to do. Do I confront her? Give him the space he's asking for? Or do I just walk away from both of them? I feel so blindsided.
Well, shit. Both of y'all are blindsided. He was blindsided. You were blindsided too. Now, this is going to be a problem for you, because this is your best friend since high school, since childhood. So this is a 10 or 20 year long friendship. Well, no, you said you were in your 20s. So this is a 10-year long friendship. Your boyfriend been dating you for 3 years. So you've known her longer than you've known him, because your best friend is in love with your boyfriend. You have to choose between your best friend and your boyfriend, because if her feelings are that strong that she has to confess her love to him instead of her keeping that to her dang self, now you have to understand that she will interfere with your relationship somewhere. Let you and your boyfriend start fighting, catch your boyfriend drinking too much, and then she's going to start making out with him and end up pregnant with his baby. You are not going to be able to trust this woman around your man if you keep this man. Now you have to take the risk of the 3-year long relationship lasting 20 years and drop your best friend and keep your friend at an arm's length away from your boyfriend, because otherwise she will mess up your relationship. Now, problem 2. If you keep your best friend, you got to drop your boyfriend, because eventually she's going to make a play. He's going to take that proposition, and then eventually it's just not going to work out. And women are going to say, oh, men are supposed to be able to show restraint. Look, ladies can get away with emotional cheating. You can have a man flirt with you at a grocery store and no harm, no foul. You can have a couple giggles. Oh, this guy made a pass at me. That's not acceptable, but it's allowed in our society. So while women are able to fulfill themselves in and out of their relationship with the social media that we have right now, where you can have 150 people diving into your DMs telling you how attractive you are. If you respond to any of them with a thank you, you just allowed somebody else to flirt with you outside of your relationship, and you would not allow your boyfriend to have a girl tell him that he's attractive in person, much less in social media. So the fact is that the dynamic is not the same. So if you understand that you're in a situation where your friend is a threat to your relationship, you got to choose. Now, from the perspective of the man, because I'm always going to give it to you like this, y'all got to understand that back in the day, a man might be attracted to more than one girl in the group. He's going to make a pass at only one of them if he's a reasonably good man. If he's just trying to get laid, he'll make a pass at all of them, and whichever one says yes, that's the one that he gets. But a good man is only going to make a pass at one of them, whichever one seems the most likely to say yes. If that person says yes, while he might have wanted the other girl in the group, he's committed to the one that he asked. Now, the other girl in the group is your best friend. So the reason why he had to take a step back and really think about his situation is that if the girl that he wanted actually does want him, and the girl that he has is the second choice, then he may decide to drop the girl that he has and get with the girl that he wanted. That's what the young bucks do, because y'all are in your early 20s. However, he may think about this and be like, look, I put 3 years into this. I'm going to stick with what I got because the grass is always greener on the other side. Now, I would tell you give him the space. And the reason why I would tell you give him the space is because if your best friend told your boyfriend that she's in love with him, and he's got to make sure that he's going to be able to stay committed with you while you remain best friends with her, he's got to be able to make sure that he rejects every possible advance that this woman's got to offer to prevent from jeopardizing his relationship with you. He is not yours if he is not committed to you. I've told men this on a podcast on a regular basis, that a woman is not yours if she is not committed to you. And no man should fight and die for anything that doesn't belong to him. So while women say that they're not property and they do not belong to the men, when you commit to a man, you belong to him the way he belongs to you, which means that you as a woman defend your man by making sure that you carry yourself with class and respect. You make sure that you validate your man and value your man and appreciate your man, and you never talk down about him in public to anybody else. And you always, even if you disagree with him in public, hold a united front, because his image dictates the success of your combined relationship. Because since he's supposed to be a financial provider by your expectations, if he fails in his society because you devalued his reputation, he will be a failure, and then you will leave him because he's a failure. You do not want to devalue your man in public because his reputation defines his success. So if you want to receive royalties, dividends, benefits from his success, you as a woman are supposed to make sure that you keep your man as successful as possible. Now, I mean, if you decide that you're going to get rid of your man, then by all means, you can destroy his reputation, whatever you want to do, because that's what everybody likes to do. You like to take a crap on the boss's desk before you quit. That's what everybody likes to do. But the truth of the matter is that as long as you're in a relationship with this dude, you are not supposed to devalue him at all, ever, especially in public, because his reputation is going to be based on how people see him. And if you make people dislike him, but while he's not around, he will not have as many favors when he shows up. And that will be a lot like being the second person that walks onto the Jerry Springer stage, the second person that walks onto the Maury Povich stage. Everybody's booing him. He ain't got to do nothing wrong, but everybody's booing him because you set a bad impression of him before he even came out. Then when everybody finds out that he's a victim of this situation, now everybody's attitude changes, but he has to earn the respect of the crowd after you destroyed his integrity before he even showed up. So in this situation, you're dating this chick, or you're dating the dude, and he's got to step back so that he can regather himself and commit to you 100% because he's committed to you. But now he's got to deal with your best friend wants him as much as he wants you, and you're not going to share. So He's got to get his mind right and then show up and make sure that any physical attraction he has for your friend is cut off so that he doesn't accidentally do something that he'll regret down the line and regret that and also mess up his relationship with you. So yeah, give him some space. But would you feel better that you broke up with him and got rid of your best friend? I mean, ain't nobody done nothing yet. Your best friend came out and told him that she had feelings for him, and he immediately came and told you. So since he immediately came and told you, that shows loyalty. That shows dedication. Now, if you decide to take that information and say, well, you and I can stay best friends, but you and I cannot socialize as long as I'm in a relationship with him because your presence jeopardized the success of my relationship. If you're able to break that, then you can give your boyfriend the opportunity to say, okay, I can be in a relationship with you. But if he's trying his best not to tear your friendship apart, he has to decide, does he risk it? Or does he walk away from this? Because this is a love triangle now. See what I'm saying? And you gotta fix that. So I would say my recommendation is give him the space that he needs to get his head together. Make sure that these two ain't hooking up on the side. And then if he comes forward and decides to commit to you, you've got a lifelong partner with him, or at least until you mess it up. And then you're going to have to distance yourself from your friend. And he cannot communicate with your friend since she clearly wants to hook up with him. Now, if you don't take that advice, option B would be to part ways with both of them, because you're either going to have to terminate your friendship with her to maintain your relationship with him, or you're going to have to terminate your relationship with him to maintain your friendship with her, because she's going to date your man if you break up with him. I can guarantee you that. So that sucks, but that's the way things are. Let's go ahead and move into the next one.
The first time my husband hit me. Please tell me if I did anything to deserve this. This happened last summer. My husband is a 40-year-old man. I am 34, and we have been together for 12 years and eloped last year. His mom was really upset about it. We refused to have a post-wedding family party that his mom offered to host at her house. Really, she wanted to redo our wedding in her backyard. We were at her house for dinner, and she asked him to at least send pictures to update the family and let them know we got married. He said he didn't want to do it. They argued back and forth, and I voiced my agreement with his mom. Later, when we got home, he was cold with me. It was clear he was angry. We started arguing about it, and he said that I should always agree with him in front of other people, and it's important to put on a united front. I said, no way, I'm not going to just agree with you like that. I can have my own opinion. We argued back and forth, and I was laying on the bed. Things got heated, and he was worked up. I told him to calm down. He said I am calm, and he hit me. I felt his fist come down on my spine. It was extremely painful and left a bad bruise. His reaction after was the worse. He gave me the silent treatment for 2 days. He minimized it as just a little slap, and I had to coax an apology out of him. I know he's wrong for hitting me, but I need to know if there's anything I did wrong. Is it really that bad to disagree with him in front of his mom? Is it important for couples to agree publicly?
All right, so let me start with the whole hitting part. So, ladies, I'm going to be on the side of nobody should ever hit nobody else in a relationship. So he was wrong for hitting her, no matter how mad he was. So don't think that I'm going to be that ultra red pill guy that's like, oh yeah, you should have backed up. No, I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to say is let's start with Bill Clinton, United States president, cheated on his wife in the Oval Office. His wife stood by his side. While she may not have liked what he did, she didn't do a press conference talking about how he was a bad man. She didn't agree with all the other women who tried to burn him at the stake. The man resigned. She stood by his side as his wife long after that scenario. Even when she ran for president, he stood by her side. So they didn't even get a divorce after that. You understand? They stayed married after that. And years later, he's standing by her side while she's running for president. Now, Donald Trump. he cheating on his wife with a prostitute. That didn't even come out during his presidential campaign. Only the fact that he paid for it through his attorney came out years later. He's still married. She's not saying anything bad about him. He's president a second time when he had the prostitute in 2017. He's still not divorced. The fact is that if you value the man that you have, you do not disrespect him, especially in public. You do not devalue him, especially in public. You do not have to agree with him. You also do not have to verbalize your disagreement. So here's a big issue. In disagreements with family, you abstain your vote. If you agree with mom, say nothing. Now, if you want to agree with your boyfriend or your husband, and that's your boyfriend or your husband, you could say that, yeah, I agree with my man because that's my man. I agree with my man because he's right. But if you disagree with him, say nothing. Remove yourself out of the room. Remove yourself out of the conversation. I'm going to go get something to drink out of the kitchen. I'll wait for you in the car. I got to go outside to get some air. But do not chime in against your boyfriend or your husband's position. Because when you get in a relationship, it is supposed to be the two of you in this relationship against the world, just like Romeo and Juliet. So you two against the family, you two against society. So you should never be against him, even if you don't agree with him. Now, the two of you can talk about this at the house. The two of you can, you can disagree with him in your mind, and then his mama's like, this is something that you should do, blah 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 blah, and then mama's gonna come to you and, aren't I right, what do you think? Your response is, I'll talk to him, I'll see what I can do. That's it. But saying, oh, I agree with your mom, no, never that. The only time that you are supposed to agree with your mom, with your mother-in-law, is when she agrees with your son, with your boyfriend or your husband. That's the only time. Because it's supposed to be a united front 100% of the time. You would expect him to back you up if you were having a disagreement with your family. So therefore, you are always supposed to back him up when he's having a disagreement with his family. But the difference in the dynamic is that if you're having a disagreement with your family, he's supposed to step in to resolve the aggressive conflict where they're not making you cry. They're not insulting your integrity. They're not devaluing you as a person. Even if y'all don't agree, if they start getting out of line, even that could be your father. He can't talk down to you while your man is standing there. He must show you the respect that you deserve, even if he doesn't agree with your opinion. And that's your man's position, to demand that respect. So he doesn't have to agree with what you just said to your daddy, but he can still make sure that your daddy doesn't disrespect you while he's voicing his disagreements. So you guys have to make sure, ladies, that y'all are protecting the value of your relationship by protecting the integrity of your man. Because if you're not protecting the integrity of your man, like a good lawyer, you're supposed to be protecting the integrity of your client. You're supposed to be protecting the integrity of your man. So if you're not doing that, ladies, you're kind of fucking up a little bit. I just really want to put that out there, because the same thing, the men that are supposed to be expected to protect and provide, if you're going to put yourself in a situation where he's going to have to come and rescue you, you expect him to rescue you, right? So in that particular mentality, you want to make sure that you're putting yourself in a position where he is, in fact, going to protect and provide you, but you're going to protect him and protect his integrity so that he's capable of protecting and providing for you. Because if you're going to leave him out to dry, why is he supposed to catch your back when you're in a tight spot? Make that make sense. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the next one here.
Random woman who claimed to be 32 asked me, at 31, to help her move a mattress. Now she wants to cook me dinner. Could this be romantic? I normally don't add random people on Instagram, but I added her because we have 6 mutuals. She immediately messaged me saying she thought I looked strong and asked for my help moving a mattress. I looked at her IG and to my surprise, she was a real person. She offered to pay for my help, but I refused payment. I said I'd do it for free, haha. I found her attractive. I was honestly going along with this because of how random it was. We set a time and date for me to help. Much to my surprise, she looked even better in person. She was wearing makeup and looked excited to see me. The mattress wasn't that heavy, and she had a male roommate who was eager to help. I drove the U-Haul because she had never driven a truck before. I had a great time talking to her. I asked her how she knew to ask me for help, and she said we were in the same running community and that she found me on Instagram. Now she's offering to cook me a meal to say thank you. I would like it if she had romantic intentions, but it is hard to tell since she offered to pay me to help her. What do you think, Xander?
Oh man, I can tell you right now, nah. Ain't no romantic intentions in there. But I mean, go for the free meal, get the thank you. And if she's not hinting that you should stay the night or something to that effect, then there's nothing else other than because she wanted to pay you for the out of gratitude for you helping her move. You're telling me that she's got this roommate that's eager to help her move out. That might be her ex-boyfriend. And he's eager to help her move out. You better call Tyrone. So let's be honest. Because she could put on a bunch of makeup and look all attractive so that you can come and help her move for free. Because again, the women can use their beauty to get what they want from men. Not all women do this, but the fact is that some do. And the ones that do also are not interested in financially compensating for anything. So when they do offer to financially compensate, and you were really only supposed to put the mattress in the truck and potentially take the mattress out of the truck. Now, the other issue is that you're driving a truck and the truck has got to be an automatic because U-Haul doesn't make standard shift trucks anymore. So I don't understand why she doesn't know how to drive a U-Haul truck. But waiting to exhale, you help her move. Diary of a Mad Black Woman. You done took her to the family reunion. And now you're sitting here thinking that not only are you going to get you a free meal, but you're also going to get you a free meal. Bro, the pie may not be for dessert. You can always wish for that, but that's usually the motivation that gets men to do stuff. The desire that maybe I might get something out of the deal beyond a little bit of cash. You should never do anything for a woman under the expectation that you're going to get anything other than monetary compensation for your efforts. I understand that Luke Cage would invite women over for coffee, knowing darn well that Luke Cage didn't drink coffee because that was the personification of hooking up. And in other countries like Hong Kong and Japan and Thailand and the Philippines, they might invite you over for something to eat because that's their way of saying, hey, let's go hook up. We're a little bit more vulgar in America. We literally just say, let's get it in the back of the car. Let's do it behind the building. There's a lot of things that we do for real. So the fact is, you think she wants to appreciate you. Now, a lot of women, not a lot of women. Let me rephrase that real quick. Very few women that want to compensate you for your efforts do so by sleeping with you after you've done such a hard task and going above and beyond the call of duty. They might allow you to sleep with them because they're not spending any money here and they can have a good time. But I'm shaking my head this whole time. And the reason why I'm shaking my head is because you got to understand is that you do not want that quality of interaction. Why? Because your value is going to be based on the company that you keep, and you don't want her value to be sex for effort. because that also means that whatever man she would have got off of IG to move the mattress, she would have slept with. She don't know you from Adam, but because you've got 5 or 6 mutual friends on Instagram, which don't all live in the same neighborhood, that she knows that through the grapevine that you'll do it for free. Nah, that's not gonna fly, bro. Because that means that there's and you got to ask yourself, out of the 6 friends that you have, were they all dudes or were they all chicks? Because typically females have more female friends than male friends. Well, they actually have more male friends than female friends, really. But on social media that know you, they're going to have more female friends than male friends that know you, that would be able to say that y'all had the same running group where she just knew you would have moved that shit for her, because no bro is going to be like, oh yeah, I know my homeboy Eric, he'll do it for nothing. Nah, I would never set none of my homeboys up like that. Now, if you ask me and I knew somebody and I knew what kind of woman you was, I might be like, bro, if you go move her stuff, you might even get some. That would be a bro code kind of thing where I would connect him to you, but I would recommend it. But for me to tell you that you can hit him on IG and then he'll do it for little or nothing. Nah, that's not what a dude would do for another dude. That's not, nah, we don't sell each other out like that. So you clearly would have had to hear that through the grapevine from other women. So you got to think about the social network you, bro. But go get the free meal, because it's the least that she can do since you just moved her out of her ex's house or her male roommate's house, moved her into her own place, drove the truck and everything. And, that had to take a few hours out of your day. So that's worth at least a meal, because the movers are paid like $20 an hour at minimum on the East Coast, and probably more than that on the West Coast. So 2 or 3 hours worth of move is a $60 plate of food. Is get your $60 in, bro. If it lead to something, it lead to something. But if it don't expect it. And if it don't happen, don't get mad about it, because you're not expecting to turn this into something else. If she wants to keep talking to you after y'all finish eating, then she can talk to you more after y'all can meet each other, because you know where she stay at now. You done dropped off her bed and you know what condition her bed is in. So if you end up sleeping in it, you know what you're getting yourself into. But just don't expect anything from her. Moving on to the next one, because we got a few.
This dating game is wicked. Feel like the more I look around me, the more content I am with being single. Cheating and backstabbing has always been a thing, but goddamn does it feel like an epidemic now. I'm seeing it online, in real life with people close to me, just straight nasty work from people. I hate how shitty the game has gotten, or maybe technology has made it easier to see how rotten the scene has always been from the jump. I don't trust anyone enough to want to be in a committed relationship anymore, let alone marriage. Infidelity has always been a thing, but people are acting a plumb foul about it now. Childhood best friends fucking your girl, partners going out to clubs and going home with strangers while wishing you good night and kissing you on the lips the next day, brides or grooms fucking randoms at bachelor/bachelorette parties right before the wedding. Like, some of the shit I've seen is pure evil. The cold part about it is these tend to be done by people you never think you do that grimy, someone you legit think loves and respects you back the same way. You gotta be cold-hearted and emotionless to survive out here. Being emotionally invested in anyone in a market like this will fuck you up mentally in the long run.
Well, you definitely said that. Yes, sir. That's exactly what the hell we got going on. Look, it really and truly, that's exactly what we got. We have the kind of market right now, the dating game. You could tell, especially if you on social media and everybody in your neighborhood, or most of the people that you know in your neighborhood is on the same tip that you on. You can definitely see the dirt, because you know these people in real life. You know who they dealing with in real life, but then you also know who they claiming to deal with on social media, and that ain't always the same person. You know who they hooking up with at the club. You know where they meeting folks outside the club, and you also know that some of these folks actually got somebody on the side, and for some reason, even though they got somebody on the side, they ain't really doing nothing different about the position that they're in, and trying to hide it. You got folks right now, you always streaming, you always putting yourself out there, taking photos and selfies and this, that, and the third. You out there in crowds, and bro, You could be seen making out with somebody behind somebody else's selfie some of the times. You could have a large enough social network when you got 100, 200, 300,000 people in your social network, and all it takes is about 20% of them to be on your wall and or your live feed or whatever, and you can end up seeing photos from 3 to 5 people that you are friends with that's at the same party, and then come to find out from the right angle, from the right photo, that somebody you know is cheating on somebody else you know at that party with other people that you know. The game is dirty, but the difference between the way things are now versus the way things used to be is the fact that back in the day, people could cheat, and the only people who would know about it is the people in the neighborhood. If you was cheating in your neighborhood, if you went to another neighborhood, nobody would know what's going on. But today, in today's realm, you could be in Georgia cheating with somebody in LA, and they will know about it before you get to Nevada, because you can't outrun the internet. But because you keep posting everything that you do, that's the whole reason why you're able to get caught up. Cheaters is only able to do what cheaters do because people are not discreet. They cheat on the job. They cheat at a hotel in their area. They cheat at their house while their girlfriend is out of town. They're not the kind of individuals that will spend 2 days ditching the tail so that there's nothing to see. You know, if you go to a hotel, go into the hotel and crash. Matter of fact, you don't even go to a hotel. You go to your other house and crash, and make sure that don't nobody come out of the house for the till the next day. They're gonna case the place. They're not gonna see nothing happen. You know, you got to be real discreet if you're really gonna try to play the field. But truth, and you got to put a lot of effort into deceit. But truth, if you've got the right person, you ain't got to worry about all that. But the dating game is hard. You've got dudes that'll go out of their way and spend a bunch of money to get laid. You've got thirsty women that need money that will go out of their way to get that money. So they will do whatever it takes to get that money. The men that are conditioned by this behavior will put money aside as a budget for dating. Then when they go reach out, they straight to the point. How much do you want? The Riley theory. And then the females are straight to the point too. You better put X number of dollars on my set. You better send me Cash App X, Y, and Z. Put this, and you got to bring this up front. It don't matter how attractive you are. You got certain females that's like, bro, you got to bring a bag of weed, some flowers, and $300. And if you got that, you got a date. But she also know that if you bringing all this to the table, that you getting laid. And if the weed is good, if the sex is good, if y'all don't argue that day, y'all gonna meet up another day. You might not have to bring the $300 the next time. You might just have to bring an ounce of weed the next time. But that relationship, if that turns into a residual practice, that relationship is not actually going to be a long-standing relationship, because that relationship is going to be based on the fact that you came for the sex, she came for the drugs and the money and whatever else that you brought to the table. And when one of y'all stop providing what y'all are hooking up for, the relationship dies, because she didn't come for what you're bringing to the table, which is the emotional respect and security and everything to that effect. And you're not coming to the table for the partner, for the positivity that she's going to bring to the table, where she's aiding you in your success so that you can share your success with her. Since y'all came for the wrong reasons, once one of y'all fall off on the personal desires, the relationship is dead. That's the reason why relationships don't last more than 3 years, because y'all spend so much time chasing. She's chasing the bag, he's chasing the booty, and because y'all not interested in what would make a long-term relationship, the situation never lasts. Now, the fucked up part is that down the line, after she done been ran through, and after he done been broke 5 times in his life, they both middle-aged. Now he's getting his money together. Now she stopped wanting to be a hoe, and now she's looking for a good dude. He's looking for a good girl. But Her mentality is that she's going to set the terms, but that's not going to work out because he had to set his income in order to meet her expectations. So she can't set the terms because she want his money. And then if she's going to put her foot down because he still needs sex, she going to put her foot down and say, well, you don't get no sex if you don't do what I say. Now we're in a situation where he's not going to date her. He's going to date a girl half her age because the girl that's half her age is not going to argue with him. And now it's still a messed up dynamic. So now the older women are going to tell the younger women, don't accept the advances of the older men, which cuts the older men off, forcing the older men to deal with the bitter older women that don't want to cooperate and partner with the older men. And that's the reason why the older men are getting the younger women, because the younger women will partner and cooperate with the older men, and the younger women can't partner and cooperate with the younger men because the younger men are too irresponsible. And the younger men, all they want is sex. So truthfully, if the younger men partner with the older women, since the older women are going to dictate terms, they're financially successful, they got their own bag, all they need is somebody to satisfy them. You get you a younger man that's irresponsible. He'll do whatever you say. And then the older men can get the younger women because the older men are financially responsible and the younger women are going to be partners. And you fix the dynamic. But the older men are going to be shamed because the older women do not want to be excluded. But technically, after about 25 to 27, you're no longer a viable option. And the closer you get to 35 and the more children you have at the same time, the less of an option you are. But think about this, ladies, that the men are not viable options until what you say, you got to be making $100,000 a year to be a viable option. So if he's got to be $100,000 a year to be a viable option, and he's a $40,000 or $50,000 a year man right now, he's not going to be a viable option until he gets his money up. Which also means that if he's got to wait 5 or 10 years to get his finances together so that he can get his money up to be worth your time, at some point you're going to have to change to how you behave so that you could be worth his time. And if you're not going to change how you behave to be worth his time, then you're going to end up falling in a position where he's going to pass you by because you're not valuable to him, because he cannot benefit from your existence the way you're benefiting from his existence. And that dynamic is going to keep the game dirty because it's not going to stop the men from cheating. It's not going to stop the women from cheating. It's just going to be messed up.
Woman, haven't had a match in months. Hi all. I'm a woman in my late 30s. Very average looking, nothing to phone home about. But I used to get a few matches a week. Or more accurately, at least one message sent to me a week from a match that wasn't disgusting. This hasn't happened in months. I've never been shy on reaching out first, and most of the dudes don't ever respond. In the last, maybe 4 months, I have had one message reply back from a guy that said, "Happy Halloween," and then ghosted. Is everyone else experiencing this total dip? Do people not really use apps anymore?
No, they're using apps, man. The problem is your age. I just finished talking about that. You're not going to want to hear that, but this is the truth. I can even tell you I've done this a few times on a dating app this week. Scrolling through. First thing I do is I check the age. If you're over a certain age, I ain't even going to respond. I don't care if you sent me a message. I'm not even going to respond. If your picture isn't attractive, I'm not going to respond. If I look at your profile and find out that you got kids, especially if they live at home, I'm not going to respond. That's like 3 things that's going to cancel me before I get a chance to talk to you and find out that you got a good heart. Them 3 things is going to make me and most men like me walk away from your profile. Why? 1, if you're not attractive, I'm going to cheat on you with an attractive girl. And if I don't want to be a cheater, I'm not going to get an unattractive woman, or at least a woman that I'm not attractive to, because somebody is attracted to you no matter how less attractive you are to me. Somebody else will be attracted to you. So I'm not going to say that there are some ugly girls, but there are some girls that are less attractive than others. So if I'm not attracted to you, I'm not going to talk to you. The other thing is your age. If I'm going to be one of those men that wants to have children or wants to have more children, your age is going to be a defining factor into whether or not a man is going to talk to you. if you're a middle-aged woman and a man is looking to have 3 to 5 kids, ma'am, if you're not already dealing with menopause, you're about to get started on menopause. At 35 to 40 years old, the likelihood of you having a child is far slimmer than what it was when you were 20 to 25. Women, just like men peak at their testosterone levels at 21, and that level stays until they're 30 and starts going on a rapid decline after that. Ladies, y'all's fertility rates start declining at about 25. So by the time you're 35, you might have would have been able to have a kid quick at 20, 25 years old, which is why you're starting to see a lot of single mothers between 15 and 20. But the fact is that at 35, 40 years old, if you have one, that's luck. A man that wants 4 or 5 kids is not going to be able to get that from a 35 or 40-year-old woman. And then a lot of women that don't want children or don't want a lot of children, you're going to restrict the quantity of children that the man have. And if he commits to you, he's not allowed to have children with another woman. Ladies, y'all got to think about the fact that back in the day, there was a black man that lived to be 130 years old during slavery that had 209 children. I told y'all plenty of times on the podcast before, 209 children in one lifetime by one man who had multiple women, because the average woman has one child a year unless you're dropping twins, and the average woman that's having one child a year to have 209 children over the course of 30 years, if he started procreating at 16, you got to think about 115 years. You start dividing 209 children. You're looking at 5 or 10 kids a year, which means that 5 or 10 different women at a time he was involved with in order to have. That's Nick Cannon numbers right there. You understand? And no woman is going to be okay with that unless he's rich enough to pay each woman $50,000 to $100,000 a year for child support for the kids that they have for him, even though he's not involved with them anymore. Now, with that being said, since the average man doesn't have that kind of money, no woman is going to be okay with this man having all of these different women on the side. So if one man, one woman is going to be the expectation, then that man needs to get a woman that will be able to drop as many kids as he's hoping to have, outside of the occasional health issue that prevents women from giving birth. But you have women that are so controlling of the man's ability to be a father that we have that 4B movement where women are protesting the contraceptives right now, not because it's a health issue where women are dying on the birth table. It's because a lot of the women that are protesting this want to be able to have free sex without having to deal with the consequences of getting pregnant from having unprotected sex with too many partners. And that's going to be an issue that they have to deal with. But you shouldn't get an abortion because you slept with too many people. Like, take that 15-year-old that had 25 different partners in the bathroom of a high school. She gets pregnant from that. They're going to want to spring for an abortion. But the truth is that if that person who voluntarily got ran through by 24 people ends up pregnant, that person should have to deal with those consequences. Let's just be real. Because women would say that if a man sleeps with a woman and gets her pregnant, that he should pay for the child if the child is born. No woman would say he shouldn't have to pay because he laid down with her, he slept with her, she got pregnant. That's his responsibility. Roles reverse, same thing. If she gets pregnant, she should give birth to the child. Even if she has to give it up for adoption or give it to the father, she should give birth to the child. But women aren't going to agree with that. They're going to say, it's my body. I should be able to do what I want to do with it. I should be able to terminate the pregnancy because I don't want to be a mother. Well, a man cannot say, I want to terminate the pregnancy because I don't want to be a father. The only thing a man can do is sign away his parental rights so that he's not financially responsible for the child that she has. That's the best that he can do. But he has no say in it. So what we got to look at is we're in a situation where, look, ladies, y'all got to be more responsible about your choices. You can't just run out there thinking that because you're 35, 36 years old, you know what you want. There's a lot of women right now that are on social media talking about a man should be grateful that he's the last choice. Miss ma'am, if I'm not the first choice, I'd better be the second choice because I damn sure not going to be okay with being a third choice. And the only reason why I'd be a second choice is because the first choice didn't work out. And the first choice didn't work out probably because you was young and you didn't know what you were doing. But the fact of the matter is that a man is not going to be overly excited that the woman knows what to do in the bedroom, because yeah, the sex could be a little bit better if she has experience with sex. But you've got to understand that just like a seasoned veteran on the job, you can't tell a seasoned veteran how to do the job if they believe that they know how to do the job. You don't want them to do it the way they know how to do it. You want them to do it the way you're telling them to do it, and they want to do it the way they feel like doing it. And if you don't like it, they'll quit. Likewise, in a relationship, if a woman that has a lot of experience in the bedroom, she's going to have sex with you the way she wants to, not the way you are satisfied by that, which also leaves the problem and dynamic that if in the event that you're not happy with what she's doing, she's going to call you ungrateful, because most men like it this way, but you're not most men. Just like she is a unique woman out of all of the women that you've experienced, you are a unique man out of all of the men she's experienced, which also means that she should be able to get in there and learn who you are, your likes and dislikes, and the way that you like to get down. Because they got some people that's out there strange as all but Jesus. I'm gonna tell you, not every woman is gonna like you sticking your finger in their behind. Not every man is gonna like you taking their junk and sticking it in your mouth. But that does not mean that you're not going to find something that's okay with that. So you can't just assume that just because you've seen that on an adult video that you can just go over there and just stick your tongue in a man's sphincter because that's what you've seen on a video. It don't go down that way. You have to find out what he likes and what he doesn't like, which means you have to either ask questions or do as you're told. The same way that men try to figure out what a woman likes or doesn't like, because he's going to ask questions for the first 6 months to the first 5 years of the relationship, where women expect men to know what a woman wants without actually having her to tell him. A man expects a woman to listen to what he tells her about what he wants instead of her guessing. Telling y'all, the dynamic is not the same. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
Gym rat husband fat shame me. I am 25, recently got married to my husband, is also 25 in late November of 2024, after we've been dating for almost 5 years. Recently, my husband has gotten into fitness, and he's very active at the gym, and his effort paid off. I, on the other hand, have tried going to the gym with him, but I found that after my office work, I'm always too out of energy to keep up the same gym routine as my husband. After some time, I stopped going to the gym. I'm around 130 pounds, and I've been that same weight for as long as I've known my husband, and I've always felt pretty comfortable about my weight, so I didn't care much for going to the gym. Recently, I started noticing him making remarks about my appearance, giving me nicknames like chunky monkey, fat baby, etc. He does this every time I'm in the middle of eating, and it kills my appetite immediately. I started lashing out at him and asking him why he's body shaming me, and he said he only making jokes. At some point, he apologized and admitted that he saw me lounging around the house too much and that he did what he did, so I would try to go back to the gym. At his explanations, I was baffled. I had gotten myself a good 3 weeks break after feeling very burnt out from work that year, and I have been feeling very low energy. So for that reason, I've been staying indoors and not going out. His reasonings made me feel like I didn't deserve to earn a break and relax. Throughout our entire relationship, there was a time when he gained a lot of weight. And I have never made any comments on his appearance, as I appreciate him not only for his looks, but his character. And for the last 5 years, I also thought he didn't care about my appearance as well. So for his sudden comments on my appearance, I feel utterly betrayed, because I am still the same weight I was when we first met and started dating. I'm not confident I can ever see my appearance through a positive lens after this incident. I'm at a loss and unsure how to recover from this. How do I move forward?
Take your ass to the gym. That's what you do. He got a membership for you. Go to it. Women are going to say that's a bad thing to say. Here's the thing. One of the reasons why he got you is your appearance. The other reason he got you is your attitude and your behavior. And the other reason he got you is because of your ability to cooperate with his agenda. You got him for his status, his money, his resources. You didn't really get him for his looks. You got him for his attitude and how he treats you. You got him for how he cooperates with you. So one of the reasons why he got you is one of the things you're letting go. Nothing that he does for you has anything to do with how he looks. So he could be skinny one year and fat the next. Not going to change you. You could be skinny one year and fat the next, and that will change his position, because the slim, sleek female that he wanted is not the slim, sleek female that he has. You have to understand. You could be 130 pounds at 5'8", be a pencil. You could be 130 pounds at 4'5" or 4'11" and be a little chunky. Okay. I'm 165 pounds. I could drop 10 pounds, be down at 150 pounds, and look skinny like Chris Rock, or what was it, Chris Tucker off of Friday. And I'm 5'6". 10 pounds make a world of difference. And 10 pounds make a world of difference as to how it fits you, because if you got muscle weighs more than fat. So you could be 130 pounds of muscle and be skinny, or be 130 pounds of fat and be round. You could go from losing your six pack to having a beer belly. You could look 3 months pregnant when you're not. You can go from being firm to having everything that used to be firm sagging. That's not attractive either. You can go from being toned to being rounded and out of shape. And then you're going to have a lack of energy. The lack of energy is going to lead to a lack of motivation, and a lack of motivation and energy will lead to a subconscious level of depression, which ironically is going to come out as a negative attitude, because you're going to be lashing out on your partner because they're trying to make you active and you don't want to be active. So all of this stuff leads to, take your ass back to the gym, girl. How much is it going to hurt you to watch Netflix on the treadmill? How much is you going to if you go into the gym with him? You understand? You going to the gym for people. I don't understand why women believe that once you get married that you can just let yourself go. He can't stop spending money on you if y'all get married, but you can just let yourself go and stop being the woman that he desired. Stop putting in the effort to be attracted by him. But when you want to go out into the world, you want to put on all this extra makeup and put on this attractive outfit and go out there and be your best self for the world. But the man that you got, he's got to deal with the worst sides of you. He's got to deal with the days that you don't want to look attractive, the days that you don't feel positive, the days when you're in a slump, you decide to be musty for a few days, when your hygiene depreciates. The man's got to accept all of that. You understand? But nowhere in there do you say, I want to always be attractive for him. That makes no sense. Why you would say that, but he can't say, I don't want to spend money on her no more. He can't never say, I don't want to hold her down no more financially. Like, she gonna have to get this. She gonna have to get all this. They got females in other countries that are paying for their man from the gate. You got stay-at-home husbands in other countries, stay-at-home dads in other countries. And here in the United States, the women don't want to be mothers, and they want the men to be more successful than the women. So if you are a Fortune 500 woman, you want a Fortune 500 man, and y'all are going to pay for a nanny and a housekeeper. Makes no sense. Because how are you going to say that you expect to have a family at some point, but genetics dictate that you should be dropping kids from the legal age of 18 in the United States, 16 and 13 in other countries, but from the legal age of 18 in the United States, you want to start dropping children from 18 to like 30. And then them kids is grown by the time you in your 40s. And they done got out your house so that you can go and live your good life between 40 and 60. You feel me? Where you dealing with grandkids by the time you in your 60s. You shouldn't be, but that's not the mentality that people have. So we're going to have this real influx where eventually there's going to be a gap between the old folks and the young folks. And we're going to, the old folks is just like in Asia, where the old folks is going to be 60, 70, 80 years old. And the gap between them is going to be 20 years. And then the young folks are going to be 18 to 24. And when all the old folks die, the oldest person is going to be 40. That's how the country is going to be. And everything's going to collapse because Responsibility doesn't happen until middle age. And we've got to figure that part out. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
I'm 27 in a new relationship with a 24-year-old female, and my family is astronomically more wealthy. Due to past life experiences, I have pretty high walls built up, and this girl has managed to lower almost all of them just by existing. She's the sweetest, cutest person I know, and despite being outwards bubbly and almost childlike, at times she has a very grounded and mature understanding of life. We have never really talked about money yet, but I think I'm just a bit insecure about intentions and even asked her outright if she was in it for the money in a joking manner. She's also never paid for meals or activities, but gives me very thoughtful gifts and repays me in her own ways. It's also on me, as I probably take her to places massively beyond her budget. I feel quite shitty about this, and my general feelings regarding the wealth difference, as when we're together just cuddling for 6+ hours, frequently there's no mistaking it's real. I guess I'm really just asking for some affirmations or someone telling me I'm being an idiot. I'm just scared that I might be seeing the relationship through rose-colored glasses, but she shows no red flags.
My husband of
Hold on a second, man, before we get into that one. First of all, bro, you've got every right to have those red flags because she already know that you come from wealth. So she could be the bitch you wanted to be at because she know that if she married you, that she inherits everything that you got. She also knows that if she marries you and then your family dies and then she divorces you, she gets half of everything that you got. So you also have to understand that she don't have to be in it for the money and say that she's in it for the money because most women are in it for the money. Not too many women are just in it for the relationship. But that is the expectation because all around the world that a woman is going to be in a relationship, not just for love, but for the financial stability. You being wealthy, you have the ability to take better care of her than what she would be able to take care of herself. And that's what women want. They want the hypergamy. They want to level up when they get into a relationship. So her intentions are not wrong. But if you want to be sure that she's not in it for the money, stop spending extra money on her. Do basement level basic shit. Then you can see if she's in it for the money or if she's in it for you. Because if you're taking her to 5-star restaurants because that's the level that you're on, she's going to love that. But you take her to Cheesecake Factory and drive-thrus and you know, free shit that doesn't cost you $1. You could be a millionaire and keep your dates at a $20 budget between the two of you, where it's $20 together, not $20 a person. Most expensive date is $100 to go bowling for the whole night. Keep it cheap. And if she's still down for the get down, then she's not out there about that money. But if you stop taking her to 5-star restaurants and you start taking her to drive-thrus and she start complaining, then you know she was not in it for you. She was in it for the money. But as long as you know that y'all cuddling in your 6-foot wide shack bed in bedrooms that's bigger than most houses, watching TVs in the theater room in your house where you've got 15 expensive cars in a driveway and a chauffeur, she ain't gonna complain about shit because she know that if she stick with it, that all of this will be hers, like Simba before Mufasa died. But you got to understand that if none of that is hers, you start talking about marriage, you start talking about prenups. Soon as you start talking about prenups, she starts talking about what's up. Because she's not in it for just you. She's just in it for the money. So to get a woman that's genuine, you don't want to talk about money. You want to just not put money on the table and see if she's still going to come to the show. You want to not contribute to certain things and see if she's going to contribute to it. You're going to do things for free and see if she's going to pay extra money to get better stuff. Because if you do that, you know that she earned her position regardless of whether or not you pay for shit. And then the plus side is that when you start upgrading shit, she's going to appreciate it. Because if she's willing to pay for the plane ticket and you're willing to upgrade it to first class, she gets an upgrade. She gets a first class flight. If she's willing to pay for the cab and you're willing to upgrade it to a chauffeur, she was willing to pay for the cab. If she's willing to pay for dinner and you're willing to pay for the left side of the menu, you're willing to upgrade what she's willing to do. But if she's going to be that type of female that's going to show up to the date with no wallet because she thought you was going to pay for it all, she ain't in it for you. So you just got to really think about this. You got to think about this because all of this stuff does make a difference. This does make a lot of sense. So being a wealthy person, the more money a man has, the more a man is concerned about, is the woman he's talking to in it for him, or is it that she's in it for what he's got? And when you are so wealthy, you can't even hide your wealth. You can't tell. If she's walking into a house that's got double doors, that's 22 and a half feet tall, second story, like the White House, your house is bigger than a public library, you can't tell if she's in it for you or if she's in it for your wealth. If all of your cars are the cheapest car in your yard is a few $100,000, you can't tell if she's in it for just you. But now, if you move out of your mama house and get you a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown and you're driving a 30-year-old Honda Civic, you can find out if she really wants to be with you or if she wants to be with your mom, because your mama's wealth is your mama's wealth. It's not your wealth. But if she's willing to live with you in the hood, then you know she's about you. So you got to really think about that. And how do you test the theory? Because if you're rich and you're entitled, how do you test the theory? Besides not spending money on her anymore, not doing things that rich people do, which will compromise your standard because you don't live like that. If you live at her level, then you can see what kind of woman she really is. But regardless of the fact, if she's doing the things that you need to do, that you need her to do as a woman to maintain your position, you could do the other thing, which most women don't really believe that a man would ever do. Teach you how to run the estate. If he knows that he's rich, he knows he's got a good girl, he knows that she's going to do right by him, you teach her how to run the estate. That way, if you can count on her not to fuck this shit up, you got a good one. That's the best way to go. But you're still going to have her run a prenup though. You're still going to have her run the, so giving her an allowance to see if she's going to invest it or if she's going to spend it. Give her business opportunities to see if she's going to run this or if she's going to flop on it. Go shopping and see if she's going to be cheap or if she's going to charge it to the fullest extent of your credit card limits. That's how you see what's going on. You show her how to save money as opposed to spending money, even though you got a bunch of money to spend. That's how you figure out what's going on. Because even as Americans, if we were to go to places like Mexico or the Philippines, as an American man with a middle-class income, we would be a rich man in Mexico. We'd be a rich man in the Philippines. And the fact is that you're not going to go there and spend $10,000 a month in the Philippines. Even if your standard of living in America is $10,000 a month in America, you're not going to spend $10,000 a month in the Philippines. You're going to spend $2,000 a month and technically you can spend $1,000 a month in the Philippines and be good. So if you're spending $1,500 a month in the Philippines to live like an American, when you go somewhere with her, you're going to see what she does on her level. You're not going to take her places on your level. You're not going to go over there and be like, oh, I'm an American. I spend $500 on a dinner. When you can spend $2 on a dinner over there, you would spend the $2. That's the best way to go, to find out how much she values you. Then you give her the kingdom. You give her the keys to the kingdom. Just like Aladdin. Aladdin showed that he wanted Jasmine for Jasmine. He didn't want Jasmine for the crown. What he got out of that? He got the crown. That's how it works. Let's go on to the next one. So what were you saying, ma'am?
30 years cheated. He now wants me to leave our home if I don't like it. Who does that?
Every man that's got some goddamn sense. You're telling me that y'all been married for 30 years. He cheated on you. And if you don't like it, you can get out. Well, yes. Because think about it. an affair is an affair. Everybody does it. I'm not going to say it's right, but what I am going to say is that a 30-year-long marriage, if you don't have enough invested in this marriage to make it work after the affair, then you wasn't really in this marriage to begin with. You got what you wanted out of the marriage, and as soon as you start getting pissed off about some stuff, you're going to walk. If he's not happy in his marriage and he goes and cheats on you with somebody else so that he can get some satisfaction out of his marriage, then let him cheat. Tag in a stunt devil so that they can do the things that you don't feel like doing after 30 years. You tired of certain stuff that he wished that you would do that you're not willing to do. And if he's going to go find it somewhere else, let him go find it somewhere else. If you were smart about this situation, you would go and find a person that he cheated on you with, move her into the situation so that he can keep her where you can see her so that you don't got to worry about catching nothing from her because she's clean and you're clean too. You know where the money is going, because if you're watching the money that's going on her, then you don't got to worry about the money coming up missing. Like the secretary who's managing his budget and taking care of his wife with his money. If you're responsible about your operation, then it don't matter if he cheats because you get his resources. So what he does got nothing to do with you getting his resources. But if you don't want to be here anymore because he decided to cheat once, or some men have a 14-year-long relationship out of their 20-year-long marriage, and then they break up with the girl to stick with the wife. You can divorce him, but now you're going to have to sell everything and start over with less. Because typically the man makes 2 times more than a woman. And if you have become dependent upon his income, you are taking a 50 or 60% pay cut from the standard of living that you normally provided for. And then you are going to have to rebuild. Yeah, he's going to have to rebuild, but he's only losing 30% of the money that you brought in. You're losing 60 to 90% of the money that he brought in. So if you don't like the fact that he cheated, you leave. He shouldn't have to move out of the house until the divorce. Matter of fact, if he's smart about it, he should just not agree to the divorce, because a divorce really only happens under 2 circumstances. It's a mutual agreement of unreconciliation, or you have enough viable information there to determine by law that the marriage agreement has been terminated. He can battle against that to prevent the divorce. And the judge will prolong the divorce process where it could be filed in a court, but just not ratified and finalized because he doesn't want a divorce. You want a divorce, and he's not willing to give you the divorce. And y'all can be separated, but still married. And in that separation, you can go live somewhere else. He can do that. He can ride that wave as long as possible. And until you get that divorce successfully provided to you, you're going to have to get you an apartment somewhere else and find you another way to live. And he's not going to take care of you either because you left. Because you have to understand that legally, abandonment of a marriage requires you guys to be separated for more than a year. But you leave. And if you leave the marriage, you abandon the marriage, there's less of a likelihood that you're going to be entitled to half of his estate because you would have been the one that abandoned the marriage. So he's smart. He's smart. You won't have to look at him the same way anymore. You don't have to sleep with him anymore. You just don't want to lose out on what you've invested in over the past 30 years. You're going to stay married to the man. You might actually get you a boyfriend on the side and let him have his affairs on the side, and both of y'all have affairs. Y'all have been married for 30 years. Y'all might actually just be good roommates now. Like Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. But it ain't going to change the fact that you're not going to throw away a 30-year investment because he slept with somebody one time. That's not a smart move. No man would do that. So I'm going to tell you, lady, don't do it. Let's move on to the next one. We got a couple more left.
We men have lost the online dating. Hey guys, here's yet another experiment. After having my profile for a few months and gaining 1 like and a few matches as a fit guy, I thought it's the city. So I made a girl profile just to see if all online talk is a reality. And so yes, sir, it's all right. Her profile got 400 likes in a week. So basically I was competing with an average of 399 other guys. And that's just in a week. I don't want to be sad or depressed, but with such statistics, why are we men still on apps? I think CZ our social lives are non-existent. There's no other explanation. Here, https://ibb co/ref 4w6f.
Oh, he
Update.
gave us a
This
whole
topic is not to
URL.
blame women/men, but in fact it's just a reality check for all my homies that in fact, if we had /create a good life/social life worth living, we never need to go through this humiliation that the core put us in. Maybe instead of working on our profile, we should work on our social life, which includes meeting women.
I've been saying that on the podcast for the last year and 3 months now. Truth is that women are going to get hit on more often than men are going to get hit on. And that's one of the reasons why when I tell women that women of value, if you approach the man with respect and not be too forceful in the situation, let him know that you're interested, he will accept your advances as long as you're in line with his level of attractiveness and his expectations for cooperation. Because one woman will approach a man, whereas that same woman would get approached by 400 men or more, 1,000 men sometimes. And the fact is that women are approached so often by men that their expectations for men are excessively high and more often than not unrealistic. So the design turns out that now women are starting to pick unrealistic expectations to weed out one man over another because there's so many of them. Because if you got 400 guys talking to you in a day or trying to talk to you in a day, in 10 days, you got 4,000 men trying to get you. You only want one. So if 1,000 of them are willing to do something, you got to try to find something else that so to whittle down what a man is willing to do, you're going to have to up your expectations. But let's be real, as men, we just want somebody that's going to cooperate with our shit. Yeah, there's going to be some sex involved, but we need somebody who's going to cooperate with our shit. So when we go and look for a woman, the out of all of the women that we look at, we only really approach a small percentage of them. And then we get rejected by that percentage, probably 80% of the time. And then eventually we come across a female that will say yes. And that's the one that we try to build a life with. So the fact is that, yeah, fellas, we have to build ourselves up. We have to work on our non-negotiable expectations for behavior. We have to set our own personal standards. And then after we do that, we already know the average expectations for women. And then once we find a woman, we have to find out what her personal unique expectations are on top of that. But for the most part, we're really supposed to be going in there already being the finished product instead of finding women that want to help you become the finished product, which means we've got to screen the women and find out if you are worthy of the finished product. Nowhere in there is the woman putting in the effort to please the man, but that's what the design of the men need to be. Instead of us chasing sex, we need to chase loyalty, respect, admiration, and dedication to the man. Because she's not chasing sex. She's chasing your financial capabilities to provide for her, the resources you have to support her, and your ability to protect her in some situations, but at least your ability to be obedient to her authority so that she can feel the need to be in control when she's giving you sex. So nothing in there has anything to do with you having a good character when she's picking you, and nothing in there has anything to do with her having a good job when you're picking her. So since you understand that what you're looking for a long-term relationship has nothing to do with her financial success, you need to find out if she's bringing to the table your expectations. And ladies, since his character has nothing to do with your decisions for him, you really need to start changing your expectations, because you already know that if he's got good character, you're going to get his wealth. That's really the funny thing, because she can have good character and a good career. And she could also have good character and no career and be equal. He can have good character and no career, or he could have bad character and a good career. And she will take the bad character and the good career over the good character and the bad or no career. Just going to be real. So fellas, I've been telling y'all on the podcast, like and subscribe, and make sure that you start putting your efforts into taking better care of yourself. I was talking to a guy a few days ago on the podcast and before the podcast, as a matter of fact. And we were talking for a minute, and I explained to him, I'm like, bro, I asked him, how much money did you spend on your last date? Just out of because we were talking about building up success, building finance, this, that, and the third. And I asked him, how much money did you spend on your last date? He said like 300. Because, it's just, you do that. You do that for the first date to impress the girl. It's a couple of hours. I told him, I said, but do you know that you could go to the Philippines and spend $500 for 30 days and the woman will wait on you hand and foot? And he was shocked. He's like, word? I'm like, yes. So for $300, you got to entertain her in America for a few hours out of one night. And not all the time do you get sex out of the deal. But in the Philippines, you gave her $500 and she's waiting on you hand and foot for 30 days. And you could potentially get sex for that whole 30 days. And I'm like, bro, your priorities are skewed. The fact is that the woman that you're spending all this money on, you're doing this to impress her. But what is she doing to impress you? She did not do anything from the day that you met her till the day that you die that shows you that she is valuable to you, but you're spending all this money on her. So you have to change your expectations. Instead of saying $300 for some sex for the night, because that's what you're doing when you're taking her out on a date, 5-star restaurant, all these drinks, lowering her inhibitions, getting her comfortable with you. Then you're going to invite her over to your place and y'all going to try to spend a night together where you're going to try to make a pass at her and hopefully get laid that night. You're spending $300 for sex. But $10 at a Starbucks, you get to know her, you find out what her interests are, you find out what her financial ambitions are, you find out what her 20-year plan is, you find out if she knows how to be reasonable and rational with her money, you find out if you're investing in shit, that she's going to invest in shit, then you find out if she's the kind of person that'll partner with your shit, if you're in a certain business and she's in a certain business that also is compatible with your business, if y'all can merge y'all shit together, then you can build a life with that person. Look, sex and money is going to happen regardless, but now you know that you got somebody that you can spend the rest of your life with growing. Nobody thinks about that on either side of the fence. But you would have spent $20 to find out that you've got somebody that's not only going to be a romantic partner, but also be an excellent business partner. You got somebody that you could spend the rest of your life improving with. Nobody thinks about that. Now, I talked about this because I even told that guy, I've been telling you guys on a podcast for a long period of time, he spent $300 on a date. And I told him, you could have put that $300 into a $500 bank account that was getting 5% interest, where you would have been getting money off of it. You would have been getting off of that $300, you'd have been getting $15 a year worth of interest, which isn't a lot of money for people to per se, because it's just 5% on $300. But if you think about every time you went on a date and spent $300 on a date, you think about how many dates you've been on this year, and you think about how many times you could have opened a bank account and put that $300 into that bank account, and each one of those bank accounts would have been getting between 5 and 7% interest for the rest of the time that the money's sitting in that account. And then you think about how much money you would have if you went on 10 dates a month, or, let's say 10 dates a month. That's $3,000 you would have been spending on dates, which if you got it like that, but if that's $3,000 a month that you're spending on dates, where 5% of that is what, $50 a month that you'd be getting back on that. And that's compounding over the year. You start thinking about how much money you're really wasting. You might be making $70,000 a year with a $45,000 a year lifestyle because you're spending $30,000 a year on entertainment. And if your $30,000 a year that you're spending on entertainment could have been getting you 5% interest back after inflation, you could have been walking away with $3,000, $5,000 a year. I don't understand why we don't think responsibly. But after I had that conversation with him, I was like, bro, if you had a female that if you gave her $100, she brought you back 110, that's a keeper. That's a keeper. You got a female where you tell her that there's a gap in the budget and she fills that gap and has some extra money on the side just in case. That's a keeper. But she's not doing that because she's got a job. She should be able to do that with your money. In the Philippines, a man will give a woman his whole paycheck, and she will budget the shit where there is money left over for you and her and investments and emergencies and upgrading, and she's working towards y'all's success, bro. But in America, you can't even tell a woman how much money you got because she gonna spend it. That's the reason why we got to change our priorities. So knowing that we're in a society where we have forgotten how to value each other, we have to change that dynamic by standing on principle. And as men, we got to hold ourselves to a higher level of respect, higher level of self-respect, stand on our non-negotiable expectations for behavior, and then hold her to those expectations. Because if she's not meeting those expectations, she's not getting no money. That's the best way to put it. Let's move on to the next one. You got like one or two more.
Why are some women like this? Finally got the confidence to ask this girl I see at the dispensary sometimes for her number. We hit it off, and when I asked for her number, she seemed pleased to give it to me. We were constantly texting. She sent me good morning and good night texts. Super got the vibe that she was into me. Just for me to find out that she's in a complicated situationship where she still lives with her ex and still does his laundry years after they've broken up. Even said there's a chance they get back together. Oh, and she actively doesn't want a new boyfriend right now. What the fuck? We're both 28 for context, BTW. Whatever. At least I had the confidence to ask for her number. Baby steps.
I mean, she's open to new options, so she's willing to move out and move in with another man, and she's able to take care of the man that she's got. It's almost like keeping a car that needs to be repaired until you can afford to trade it in for another car. The fact is that she's willing to entertain you, because if you're willing to take her out of the situation that she's in and put her in a better situation, she's going to leave. She broke up with them, but she's still living with them, because in this day and age, you can't afford to live by yourself. So once you move out of your parents' house or get kicked out of your parents' house, whichever, you end up in a situation where you got to live with somebody. Usually, if it's a male living with a female, that more often than not leads to a relationship that turns into a situationship, because you can't afford to move out of that standard of living that you've gotten so comfortable with. Then you end up in a toxic relationship where you guys are broken up, you get back together. You don't change your behavior towards each other, and you don't work on the relationship so that you guys can stop breaking up, but you guys keep getting back into that toxic relationship out of the convenience, because he's going to have the convenience of the consistent sex partner with you. You're going to have the convenience of the consistent financial stability from him. And between the two of you, you just in and out of this relationship that just doesn't work, which isn't what I would recommend for anybody. So since we're not financially stable, she's in a relationship, she's living with someone that she would prefer not to be living with, and now you have the choice to take her out of it or not. You would feel bad if you tried to make a pass at her and she told you that she had a boyfriend. But you also have to understand that technically, even though they're broken up, she still lives with her ex. Now, how would you have felt if she told you that she still lives with her ex, even though they're not dating anymore? You would say red flags and you wouldn't talk to her. So she's not going to really tell you that that's the case. But if you don't care about that and you're willing to work on a relationship, you can move her right on out of her boyfriend's apartment, which it's going to happen, because once he gets tired of you making her happy and she's treating him like crap because she now found a man that'll treat her the way she wants to be treated, she's going to end up in one of the toxic situations where you got to come play Captain Saber. But you also have to realize that how you met her is how she will leave you. So if she stayed with him until she found another man, she will stay with you until she finds another man. That's just how life works. Let's move on to the last one.
I'm 28, and I was dumped out of the blue after her epiphany. Now she is 25 and wants us to try again, on her terms. Do I give her another chance? My ex-girlfriend wants to get back together after dumping all her issues she has held in. Wants it to be on her terms. Friends are egging me to do it. I sort of want to but can't think correctly because I still have feelings, emotions crowding logic, and wanted to hear opinions. We've been together for about 2.5 years. Relationship was great for 98%. Never argue. Just discussions on disagreements, constant dates, etc. She recently came back from her hometown after visiting friends and family for New Year's. We do monthly check-ins on how our relationship is doing, and out of the blue, she asked that we break up. She said after her talks with friends that she didn't feel like she was growing, admitted about vulnerability issues from her side, and that relationships shouldn't have compromises. It should just click. She also said that she doesn't want the hardships that come with commitment. She values and prioritizes her friends the same level as relationships, but wants everything else that comes with it. Living together, cooking, chores, etc. She had texted me multiple times and asked us to try again. However, I'm on the fence. She wants to put a 3-month timeline, performance improvement plan, where if SHE doesn't feel change, then she can call it quits. My friends are calling me out for being hesitant, but I can't get over how inherently selfish all of this is, let alone how much was dumped on me. I was blindsided out of the blue, and now I have to put in extra effort to make sure I meet all her eat your cake and have it too needs. I might be blinded by my feelings, but I would try again if she didn't put a timeline. What are your thoughts?
Man, fuck that shit. I ain't trying. No. So let's start off with the first problem. She went somewhere else. Somebody then boosted her head up, got her thinking that she gonna come over here and come kick you in your ass because she not happy with the fact that she's not growing in her life. That's not your fault. That's her fault. Second of all, y'all check in every month about y'all's expectations about the relationship. If she wants more, she's got to do more because she can't sit here and say, oh, you're not doing enough because you don't ask that much of her because y'all do the monthly check-ins to make sure that y'all satisfied with y'all relationship. She dumped all of this stuff off on you. Two things that happened. She went back to her hometown, reconnected with a fling, had a jump off, and now she's coming back and lashing out on you. Second thing is now she's trying to make you do much more so that if you don't meet that expectation, she can use that as the excuse as to why y'all break up, and she go back to her hometown and go back to her original fling. No, she want to break it off. Let her go. You've been doing monthly checkups. She has not complained. Y'all been dating for so long, and she's had the opportunity every month to tell you that she's got a problem, and she ain't never had no problem until she went back home. That's because she ain't got no problem. Somebody made her believe that, oh, she could get better, do more, and have more, and if she kick you in your ass, then she'll get it. No, don't do that. No. If you understand the area of your ways in the relationship and you know that you're not doing enough, do more. But if there are things that you can't do and she's expecting you to do that, fuck that, get out. Because same thing, she's not going to be that kind of person. No woman is going to want to have a man say, oh, you're gonna do it my terms, if y'all were already in a relationship and you wasn't doing that. First statement that she gonna have is, well, you didn't ask me to do that before, so why are you asking me to do that now? If you don't stand on your non-negotiable expectations from the beginning of the relationship, man and woman, if you don't stand on your non-negotiable expectations from the beginning of the relationship, it is hard to get that halfway through the relationship. You have to settle for not getting it because you gave up on it in the beginning, or you're going to have to drop this relationship and start over. And when you start over, you're going to start on a relationship where your terms and conditions are at the very beginning of this relationship, like a warranty program. If it's in the terms and conditions that you must do X, Y, and Z by a certain period of time, and if you don't do it, this contract is terminated, then at the end of the day, you cannot do what they're saying that they want to do because it's not inside of the agreement. So if she done dumped all of this stuff on you about she's unhappy about this and she's unhappy about that and she don't like this and she don't like that, fuck it. Let her go. If there's things about the relationship that you are willing to change, then change it. But you change it for yourself. You don't change it for her. If she want to stay, she can stay. She ain't got to stay. But she not staying on her terms. She's staying on your terms because she is here for what you got to offer. She is not your prize. You are her prize. You benefit from her if she cooperates with your agenda. You don't benefit from her, but she still gets your resources. That is not a good relationship for a man. Now, if she's the breadwinner and she wants to dictate terms, she's going to be the masculine one. You're going to take on the feminine roles. Yeah, she could be the leader. You can follow her lead. But long as you leading the way, sir, there is no her terms. She can negotiate. She gonna talk about a relationship ain't about negotiation. It's about clicking. The relationship was dead when she said that. because that what she's about to do is a hostile takeover where she's going to demand control so that she could feel equal. She's not equal if she's controlling you because you would not control her. You are expecting her to cooperate with you, which means you're not controlling her. So why does she have to control you for her to be an equal? If she's controlling you, you're not equal. You are oppressed. And you are funding that. You are paying her to oppress you. And there's no reason for a man to do that. So I'm going to tell you one last thing. Just leave her, bro. Let her go. Let her go. If she wants to go, let her go. She keeps begging you to come back and let's talk about this and let's work this out, but we're going to do it on my terms. You're going to tell her straight up and down sideways. No, if you're going to date me, you're going to date me on my terms. This is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm not willing to do. This is what I expect of you. And if you're not okay with that, stay gone. But if you want me, I am not doing X, Y, and Z. Plain and simple. She's got a choice to make because she knew what kind of man she had before she started acting an ass. And you should not change what you are for the sake of some petty bullshit that she was told by somebody else. This isn't something that she has had as an expectation. This is some bullshit that she got from somebody else that she bringing to you after she went back home because you check in every month. It's not like y'all ain't talked about this for 3 or 4 years and now all of a sudden she's dropping this bomb. She's been suppressing it this whole time and she dropped this bomb. You check in every month to make sure that she's satisfied with the relationship and you're satisfied with the relationship. She was satisfied until she went back home and somebody told her she should be getting more out of the deal than what she's getting. No. And then when she come talking about she keep her friends on the same level as she keep her relationship, that means that she got fuck buddies that's best friends. No. Your husband, your boyfriend is more valuable than your friends. Otherwise, you're not married. Your husband replaces your family. Otherwise, you're not married. Once you get married, you dedicate yourself to your husband the way your mom dedicated herself to your dad in your family. So you do not sacrifice your marriage for a friendship. You do not sacrifice your marriage for personal desires of family. But you also do not get into a bad marriage knowing that that's not going to work out just to spite your family or friends. So you got to really figure out your priorities. But I'm going to tell you right now, bro, most of the guys will tell you, get in it because she's attractive. And if you do what she says, then you get sex and blah, blah, blah. But no. Because if she's not going to prioritize you, you would have prioritized her because you're doing monthly checks to make sure she's happy. If she's not prioritizing you, bro, and she's putting all these rules down, no, let her go. Because it's going to go from this to another meltdown that's going to lead to more restrictions on you, more requirements from you, and her setting timelines on you, no. Because you're not going to set timelines on her. Eventually is what you're hoping to get from her. So no. But that's all I got for you guys for today. We actually did 2. I told y'all we're going to be catching on to some of them 2-hour scenarios. I appreciate you hanging out with us, Red Void. I see you. I've been looking at you all afternoon. I appreciate you guys. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Special shout out to Romania and Brazil and the Philippines, because I know you guys have been showing us love for a long period of time. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And for those of you we're going to be talking tomorrow, we have to cover that how the California fire is affecting the economy. And then after that, we're supposed to be covering all of the stuff that Donald Trump is talking about doing. So Monday and Tuesday is going to be pretty interesting for us. And then Wednesday, we're going to have us another business and finance topic. Thursday is already up there. And then Friday and Saturday, we're going to be talking about some relationship topics before our Sunday members only lives. So make sure that you guys like and subscribe and check us out every night of the week at 10 o'clock Central. That is going to be 11 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Pacific. And as I walk out of the door, I want to say, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to please make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. As fellas, I really appreciate y'all coming to the podcast. Thank you so much for supporting us, because you guys make us who we are. And, I'm definitely going to keep giving you guys the information that you need to be a better you. So thank you for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see you tomorrow.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.